Hey guys, this is my Gap over here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about WooCommerce and why it's like the #1 e-commerce platform to use right now. I still use Shopify, but with WooCommerce, you can do tons of crazy things. And right now, I'm getting insane sales like this, simply by utilizing WooCommerce plus SEO. And the same SEO tactics can also be applied to Shopify, but I just want to show WooCommerce offer a little bit because one, it's insanely fucking cheap. You can get it up and running for like $3 a month. That's how insanely cheap it is. Two, it can be insanely fast, literally, if you know how to set it up properly, which I'll show you how to do in this video very simply. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. You're going to be easily set this up, no questions asked. It's not going to be hard at all. So this is a WooCommerce store that I have right now, already making 6 figures, furball.club. It's selling a pet carrier, and this site is incredibly fast. And the thing is, it uses a page builder. The page builder is free. It's called Elementor. Literally, you can build custom pages just like this without paying $50 to $100 a month on Shopify, right? All those page builders on Shopify are monthly costs, or they want to take 3% of your cut. Then if we go on pricing right now, which shows us our product page, look how quickly it loaded, by the way. Right, I have like, and you can see the page is fully optimized. It's fully made by the page builder, right? I get to optimize it the way that I like, and I'm not stuck with the theme, okay? There's nothing wrong in the Shopify Dawn theme or whatever. And if anything in the beginning, that's fine too. But I'm just showing that you can do more with WooCommerce in the beginning. And one thing I love about the WooCommerce checkout page, like if we click checkout right now, it loads in like 2 seconds, 1 second. That was like less than a second, by the way. If you go on Shopify, doesn't matter. It always takes 3 seconds. It always takes so long. I don't know why, and I'm pretty sure that hinders sales after you hit a certain point. Okay, and the thing is, you don't want to run headless Shopify because I feel like that just defeats the point of Shopify. You're better off using the Shopify checkout when you're using Shopify. But when it comes to WooCommerce, you get a super fast checkout page when optimized correctly. And you can optimize this checkout page so it's not as bland as like this for this specific one. For example, this for my SEO Insanity program that uses the WooCommerce checkout, and I can customize it just like this, okay? And you can do post-sales, pre-sales. I don't have a demo right now over here. And you can even do order bumps, which is not shown, but you can literally do that for like $50 a year. And again, like I said, the license can be used on multiple sites because it's under the GNU license. Obviously, if you have the money and you want to buy more licenses, or you just want to support developers, sure, you can do that too. Okay, so you can optimize the checkout page, you can optimize the emails, you can optimize the thank you page per product. It's insane what you can do on the back end. Okay, you can optimize every single fucking thing on WooCommerce without paying $100 a month per app. Okay, if I were to pay for all the dumb apps on Shopify for these WooCommerce stores, I would be paying literally $3,000 a month plus probably like 7% of sales, right? So WooCommerce, endless opportunities, and Code Canyon or ThemeForest.net. There's a lot of themes and plugins that are one-time payment for lifetime access, okay? I really like the Flat Sum theme. It's amazing. It's $59. Use it on multiple sites if you want. If you want to support the developer, then sure, buy more licenses. There's tons of plugins. I recommend clicking on bestseller and purchasing things that have good reviews, at least 4.5 and a lot of sales, okay? That way you know the developer is going to constantly develop it, because if you get on the newest plugins, you can buy it and they'll never work on it again. Basically, you're taking a risk on this. It's fine if you can afford it, whatever, right? And if you can't, then, stick with the things that have tons of reviews and tons of sales so that the developers are constantly, that they're going to be working on it. And there's tons of plugins that you can do crazy things on WooCommerce. You can accept payments via Solana wallets and MetaMask wallet. If you don't know what that is, it's just basically crypto stuff. When you're selling crypto products, it's one of the easiest ways to like sell NFTs on your WooCommerce. And I know NFTs are not that big right now, but they were just a couple months ago. And I made a ton of money doing that. Anyways, what I'm just trying to say, there's tons of things you can do. Play around with this, and let's get to business. Oh yeah, I didn't even show you. There's a huge repository of WordPress/WooCommerce website on the back end of your WooCommerce and WordPress site. So if you go on plugins and then go on the search, you can literally search for plugins. For example, here's a post-sale, pre-sale, cross-sale that's free. Okay, I haven't used this specific product over here, but I know there's tons of free plugins because when I first started, I just used the free shit. And then eventually I moved on to the paid stuff because the paid stuff just worked a lot better than the free stuff. But the free stuff was still amazing in the very beginning, okay? Cart abandonment apps, free. Drag and drop sales funnel, free. Boost sales for free. Funnel builder for free. This one's a good one. Funnel Kit. This one I can highly, I use this. It used to be called WooFunnels. Amazing. I think you can make custom thank you pages, custom product pages, and you can make custom thank you pages per different products. so that you can create insane upsells at the end of the day, okay? So really crazy customization. So this is amazing even if you're a beginner or a pro, okay? If you're a pro, I don't get why you're not utilizing this, because on Shopify, you're really stuck. Don't tell me that you can do all this shit, because you can't. And when you can, you're still stuck in a box, right? Things like multi-currency on WooCommerce is not the same. It's not the same on Shopify. On WooCommerce is a totally different level. You can accept the exact currency with a whole different page in that language, geo-targeting by the IP. Okay, you can do some insane customizations for this, okay? And the last thing that I actually wanted to show you was offline payments. So, for example, you're on a regular checkout page, you put your credit card details in, and the customer clicks place order or whatever. They get a thank you notice. They get an email notice. Funny enough, you haven't charged shit. They don't even know if you charge their card or not. This is so great when you're testing out a whole new product and you don't want your merchant account to get tainted, right? You don't want to be processing a bunch of charges and then you have to do a whole bunch of refunds or cancellations. That just doesn't look good on Stripe. That doesn't look good on your merchant account. But when you do this, the credit card details, half the details get stored in the back end of your website, so over here, and then half the other details get sent to your email, okay, over here, okay? And then you just combine that info and then go into your Stripe account, and you would click payments, create a payment over here, and then click manual payment. And almost every merchant account does this. By the way, if you're signing up for a merchant account, tell them you're doing phone orders, okay? If you tell them you're doing online orders and you do this, they may shut down your merchant account. So make sure you do phone orders, because this is how they process phone orders, via virtual terminal. And the great thing about doing this is, one, you can charge whenever. So let's say the product takes 17 days to arrive to your home, or it's going to take 30 days to figure everything out because you're doing a whole different niche and you got to like buy it from the manufacturer, ship it to your shipping agent, and then from your shipping agent drop ship it to all your customers around the world. That's going to take some time to figure it out, okay? The great thing is you can have access to the credit card info and then process it later. Just notify your customer. Say, hey, we're not going to charge your card right now, but when we process your card, we will then charge it later on that date. That way, you know, they'll not be like, why did my card all of a sudden get charged like 30 days later? Anyways, you will put that info here, the amount, description, just put the order info, the credit card info, the, month and the 3 digits on the back, capture funds later, add the billing address. I recommend doing this if you're obtaining that info. It just makes it look more legit for Stripe in your merchant account, and then click submit payment. And then you'll capture payment later on if you need, okay? And so yeah, this is an amazing way to do like a dummy website and just to see if orders go through, okay? Without tainting your merchant account, because a lot of people don't tell you if you process a lot of payments and no one actually accepts it, you don't actually process the order and you do a bunch of refunds, that does not look good. Stripe doesn't like the fact that you do a bunch of refunds, okay? They're probably going to close down your account. So you don't want that to happen. And you can diversify. When you're processing, you can process basically these credit cards under multiple Stripe accounts or under multiple merchant accounts. That way you don't get flagged. Because if you do too many orders under a month, the amount of money that you process will be held. Probably around 180 days, or a portion of it will be held for like 35% of it or something for, let's say, every 90 days or something. It's called a rolling reserve. This happens very often. A lot of gurus don't talk about this. Personally, I think they don't actually process $1 million or whatever. They say they do, but yet they never mention these roadblocks that always happen. There's no way this does not happen. No merchant account is just going to let you process $1 million or 100K in 30 days. Sure, within 12 months, you can do 100K because that's only like, less than 10K a month. Okay, so let's get to the point here because I've been talking a lot. And I also forgot to mention that with SEO, you can get some insane results with WooCommerce. The same results, very similar to Shopify too, but there's a lot of free apps such as Yoast SEO over here. It's literally free. There's a paid version that's slightly tiny better. You don't really need to use in the beginning. And if you go on your product page, such as if you go on any page, it shows you how it's going to look on Google, on the mobile results, on the desktop results, readability, schema, social. Even when you install it, it immediately organizes your site for SEO for Google on the latest updates, okay? Yoast literally updates just like this because they're literally one of the biggest plugins in the world. They're raking in so much money that they can do this really, really quickly and really, really fast. So you're getting an edge when you use Yoast SEO on your website. And not only that, You can integrate the latest tracking devices or analytic tools like Google Analytics 4. It came out like, months and years before, and Shopify just recently, I think 6 or 5 months ago, integrated that in their services when WooCommerce stores could have used it day one. You get what I'm trying to say? So better tracking, better analytics, right? You get access to Google Analytics backend over there. And heaps of apps that you can use, okay? But we want to get this started. So let's get this started. What do you need to get started? Okay, so you need a domain name account. So we're going to use namecheap.com to buy your domain name. We also need a CloudFlare account because it's like a anti-bot protection service, okay? Then we need a hosting provider. We're going to use CloudWays.com. It's cheap. It's $10 a month, but on one server, you can literally install 3, let's say 1 product stores or like 5 product stores on your site that will still run pretty well. So what you want to do is buy your domain name, right? Just go through the process of Namecheap. There's hundreds of videos that show you on how to buy a domain name, okay? Once you buy your domain name, we got the sexy finger domain name. You want to click Manage, okay? After you click Manage, you want to go to Name Servers, click over here, and click Custom DNS, okay? We're going to put some details in there. We want to go to Cloudflare, open up accounts, very easy. Once you open up the account, you want to go to Websites. Then you want to click Get Started or Add a Website or something. So Get Started, and then you want to add your website. So sexyfinger.com. Click Continue. It's going to add the site. There's a bunch of paid services. You don't need to use any of this stuff. Their free stuff is amazing to begin with. So just click free, like literally amazing, amazing. And it's 100% free. So click Continue. And then it lets us know what's wrong. So it's saying remove this and add these. So we need to copy this, paste it here, copy this, paste this here. Okay. And then click Save. Now, usually this takes a couple minutes to update. However, sometimes it could take like 24 to 48 hours. So you might have to like sleep on it and just wait it out. Okay. See, there was like a notification there. It said 48 hours. And then from there, once we're here, you want to delete. You want to delete all this like info, especially if it's a brand new site. If it's not a brand new site, then you might want to keep some of that info. I'm pretty sure you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, just delete everything. So we're just going to delete all this stuff because we don't need it. And we are going to then register it to our CloudWays server. So I'm just going to quickly delete all this stuff. So we're done deleting it. And what we actually want to do is click Add Record. Now, if you have an Add Record and you click Continue, you can just add records later. And it's really simple. You would just go back to your overview. You would click on your website and then click DNS. And then from there, you want to add the records, okay? But before we can add the records, we need to get the info. So to get the info, we got to set up our hosting account. So create a CloudWays account. Simply go to mygap.com/CloudWays. The link will provide you with a discount of some sort. Sign up there. And you can literally get a hosting provider for $10 a month. And this is a premium, not shared, dedicated hosting for your site, and you can install multiple apps on there, meaning you can have literally 3 websites on one $10 a month app. That's what I'm saying. For $3 a month or $3.33, you can have a full-fledged e-commerce website without paying $30 a month for a basic shitty Shopify store. Okay, so now we're going to click Launch Now, and I personally go with their version. So WooCommerce 7.1.0, click on that, or whatever the latest version is, click on here, okay? You can also click clean version, but this one's optimized for their servers, but it doesn't matter, okay? So we're gonna click on this one that's optimized for their servers. You can give it a name. Let's say 01 Sexy Finger. Sexy Finger is actually a Shopify store that I'm demoing right now, but for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna use it as our domain name, and we're gonna call it WooCommerce Ecommerce sites. We might install more apps on here, okay? And a project too, you can create e-commerce stores, whatever. Then your server size, literally go to the 1 gigabyte. It's gonna say that 1 gigabyte is not good enough, but I'm telling you, for one product store or like a couple product stores, it's totally fine in the beginning. Click on 1 gig and then the server location on where you're probably going to be advertising the most. I live in Toronto, which isn't far from New York. So I'm just going to click Toronto. If you're in the United States, just pick the state that's closest to you. And if you're in Europe, whatever, right? Ultimately, honestly, it doesn't matter too much. I just picked Toronto. I'm going to click Launch Now. and it's going to create my server for me. Now, this is going to take some time, so let's go on a little tea break and we'll come back, okay? It's going to take around 7 minutes to get this started, okay? So we're going to add our servers and just wait. Okay, guys, so the server has been made. So we're going to click on the server, and then within the server, we have our apps, okay? So the apps are going to be shown over here. So we have one app only, so we're going to click on that. And then from there, we need to add our domain. So we go to domain management and we click add domain, and we're going to type in sexy finger or whatever your domain is and click add domain. It's going to save changes and add the domain. You can also add the w version of it too. I think that should work. And then what you want to do is click on this one, and then over here on the 3 little dots, click make primary, set as primary. This might take like a minute or two to set up, let it do its thing. And then the next thing that we got to do is then connect it to our domain via CloudFlare. Okay, domain has been successfully added. It's our primary domain. Now we're going to go back to access details, and we want to go to public IP and copy this, okay? Public IP and copy it. Every server is going to have a different public IP. Then we're going to go to our CloudFlare, and we're going to click add record. Then we want an A type record, okay? Name, we want at, so sexyfinger.com, which is our at because that's our domain name. And then the IP address that we copy and pasted, and make sure that the proxy is on and auto, and then click save. Then you want to add another record, and then we want to call this CNAME, and we want to do www. And that's it. And then put sexyfinger.com, and it's going to be an alias of sexyfinger. So when people do the w version, it'll redirect them to sexyfinger.com or whatever your website is. And then from there, we have connected, and we're kind of done with Cloudflare. And there is one more thing that we got to do is set up our email server. So we're going to go to mailgun.com. And Mailgun is free for X amount of emails. There are multiple options. If you just search SMTP free, there's usually multiple options that will give you X amount of emails. Or so if you go on Google, there's multiple options that you can search SMTP, and it'll either be like, you know, you'll get 5,000 emails for free each month, and if you go past, you got to pay like 0.003 cents per email. It's something like really, really cheap. Okay, for this one, it's like 1K a month, 1,000 emails a month. Like, you know what I mean? That's an insane amount of emails, especially in the very beginning. You may need a credit card to start up. Like I said, there's multiple options. Google is your friend. Always use Google. Please Google. Google is where the money's at. So SMTP free, or like, you know, free options, Reddit or something. 10 best free SMTP servers for transactional emails, okay? What do we got? Brevo, SMTP Go, SMTP.com, MailerSend, MooseSend, Google SMTP. Okay, you got multiple options. We're going to use Mailgun because I like Mailgun. And then what we want to do is click on sending. And then we want to click add new domain. And we need to create a domain name. I usually just go with contact.sexyfinger.com. And domain region, just pick a region. And then IP assignment doesn't really matter. Advanced settings doesn't matter. And then click add domain. For some reason, your email didn't work. So instead of using contact, I use mail.sexyfinger.com. Just, you need a subdomain basically to make it work properly. Once you have the subdomain, click on sending, then click on domains, then click on mail or whatever your subdomain is. And what you want to do is basically input all this data into your DNS information. And so you want to add these records. All these records are a TXT record, okay? So you would just click here and copy it, and then go into your Cloudflare DNS information type. So the type of record is a TXT record. Click on that. For the name, it will be your host name or that subdomain that you created. Paste that there, and then enter this value into the description, right? And then click save. Then we want to input the rest. So we need to copy this one and create another TXT record and paste that in. Now some DNS servers only want you to put like this portion, or you can like paste the whole portion like this that has like the whole portion there. Anyways, just put that info in, and then content, copy and paste that in, click save. And then we have these MX records that we want to put in. So we want to copy that, add record, MX filter, sorry, MX record right here, name, mail server, MX8 here, and then priority, you want 10, TTL doesn't matter. And then we want to add another MX record. And then the name is going to be the same. Priority is the same. Priority was 10, and this time it was MXB, like that. Save. And then we have the CNAME. So the CNAME has double subdomains. And in the free version of CloudFlare, it doesn't like protect you on double subdomains. So you actually need to turn off the proxy or that CNAME won't work. So turn this off. I recommend not paying for CloudFlare and just have this off. There's no point. And then copy this value, paste it in here. That's auto. Everything is fine over there. And sorry, the type is CNAME. And again, turn this off, paste that in, click save. And we have it all set up for our mail server for CloudFlare. And usually on Mailgun, if you just click verify DNS settings, again, this could take like 24 to like 48 hours. Most of it got verified. For some reason, this one didn't. Though it's showing the current value as this. Let's just paste it one more time. I think it's fine though. And just click save one more time. And then let's see if we click verify again. And okay, there we go. So that got verified. Okay, after we set up our SMTP on Mailgun, we now need to log in to our website. So if we go to our website, so sexyfinger.com/WP-admin, we're going to go into the back end of our newly created website. And the details of the access information is in the app location. So click on the server, click on the app, and then the admin panel is right here. So just copy this and then go over here, paste it, and then, sorry, go back, copy this, and then paste it here. And boom, we are on our newly created WordPress/WooCommerce site. If we click view visit site, there's not really much going on. It doesn't even look that spectacular. So from this point on, we can download our themes and our plugins that we need. So I like the Flatsum theme. Since it's a paid theme, I'm not going to talk about it. I kind of want to make this like free as much as possible. So we're going to use the Astra theme. And I think if you use CloudWays, you get access to Astra Pro for free. So you could do that too. Astra Pro free, or it's like $1 a month. Full account and get 1 year free subscription. Oh, so you get 1 year free subscription, I think. Anyways, Astra regular is fine too. So add new theme, and then Astra's right here, and then you can click install. And then click activate. And then, you know, if we visit our site, it should look different now. So, you know, there's more. It's more of a cleaner look now. So to customize the Astra site, you can just click customize, and then there's a bunch of things here that you can then edit and, you know, change the header. It's kind of similar to like the Shopify backend over here, the page, the footer builder. Now, another plugin that you want to install, I'm going to talk about that stuff later. So another plugin that you want to install is the following. So delete Hello Dolly. And you can also use this plugin if you want. I'll just keep this here for now. But anyways, add new, and we want to add a bunch of plugins that we need. So we want the Yoast plugin, so we'll search for Yoast. That's our SEO plugin. Install now. And then activate. Then we have the Elementor page builder that we want to install. So we're going to add that too. Elementor. And install that. Website page builder. This plugin's pretty cool too. You can make like separate headers and footers for specific pages. So you can like have that plugin too if you want. We're going to activate that. The next plugin is our contact form creator. On Shopify, you can't even create your own contact form without, you know, hiring a developer, and you always get spam because you can't install Google CAPTCHA. So you'll get all these spam messages, at least with what's it called, with WooCommerce or WordPress. You can install the CAPTCHA via the contact form 7 by creating a Google CAPTCHA account. So contact form 7, install now, activate. And so this creates your own contact form that can be more in depth, right? I like my contact forms to be like this, like, you know, your name, your email, your subject, your order number, your message, and then have Google CAPTCHA so you're not getting spammed to oblivion. So anyways, contact form 7 has been installed. Patch Stack is I'm going to actually talk about that after. So what we want to do next is PixelYourSite, which allows you to easily install Google Pixel, Facebook Pixel, I should say, not Google Pixel, Facebook Pixel, and Google Analytics. So right here, install now. This is one of like the very best. The guy who runs this is like from Romania or something, and he's really like educated in UTM parameters, tracking, analytics. He knows some really juicy stuff. If you watch his videos, he has some insane knowledge on this stuff. So PixelYourSite is there. Now, this doesn't give you TikTok access unless you pay for it. So, you know, you can always just find a TikTok Pixel plugin too. Right, you can just search like TikTok Pixel. Right, and there's a bunch of like, there's other pixel managers. So there's this one right over here. I haven't used it before, but it probably works. Okay. So there's that. Anyways, I usually stick with Facebook, but obviously if you're using TikTok ads, add another plugin to your site. The next thing is FraudLabs Pro. Now, if you're using like Stripe or like WooCommerce Pay, in my perspective, you don't necessarily need this. This is more so for like third-party merchant accounts. If you're using like offline payments that I use too sometimes, I like using this because it will let you know based on all like the information, like the IP address, whether they're using a VPN, whether their address is a forwarding address. Basically, they check the order if it's like fraudulent. It's just a fraudulent checker. Now, you get a free API for 500 orders. You can just keep making new accounts. I'm not going to set this up right now. It's pretty easy. They have documentation on their website. So FraudLab Pros. Then we got PostSMTP, okay? We'll do that right after. Kadence Email Customizer. So that's pretty cool because we can customize our emails. So let's get that. There's a bunch of these email customizers, by the way. So here, install now. There's Yay Mail 2. Let's click on Kadence, install, activate. Then we got Yoast, which we already did. I wrote that like 3 times on this. And then our merchant accounts. And another great thing about WooCommerce is that there's multiple merchant options, okay? We have the offline credit card payments, which means you can pretty much accept payments for any merchant account. Because if you cannot, let's say, integrate it, at least you can use the virtual terminal, right? Now, if you want to actually use your merchant account so you don't have to manually type in the cards, literally Google is your friend. There's so many merchant accounts that Shopify doesn't work with. I bet you it works with WooCommerce. If not, you can hire someone on Upwork for a couple dollars and they can easily integrate it. Now, my recommendation is the official Stripe and the official PayPal, what's it called? Plugins. So if you search Stripe, the reviews are like bad, but I've never had an issue. I don't know what the heck is going on. I think people just don't know how to use Stripe, or Stripe is not for their country or something. So we got the WooCommerce Stripe or the WooCommerce Pay. WooCommerce Pay is pretty easy. It's a lot easier to set up than the WooCommerce Stripe. Sorry, WooPayments. That's what it's called, WooPayments. So you can do this one instead of Stripe, and then WooCommerce PayPal install. Now, these are also pretty easy. You just basically log in with your PayPal account and it will connect the APIs, and then all of a sudden you have WooCommerce PayPal. And I'm just going to deactivate FraudLabs Pro because it keeps giving me that message. blah, 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 so that we don't have to deal with that. And then and then the last thing was PostSMTP. That one's very important because when we send out emails right now, no one's going to really receive them. So we didn't really connect fully our SMTP protocol to our website. So PostSMTP, my perspective, is the best SMTP plugin. So we're going to click activate on that and then skip on that. And then anyways, so we want to click start the wizard and we want to set this up. So the email addresses need to be coming from an email that's like at your website. Okay. So like support@sexyfinger.com. Okay. And then the name, sexyfinger, that's it, or 60 finger support. That doesn't really matter. Then click next. And then required mail server host name. So go to sending, click on your domain, then go to overview, copy this, right? Our domains, mail.sexyfinger, and then domain settings, and then SMTP credentials, and then that's our mail server host name. Again, that's all on the documentation on Mailgun. So make sure to go through that if you're a little bit confused, but I already just showed you where to go, so you should be fine. Then it's going to do a connectivity test. And then we can either connect via API or via the custom. So I like doing 465, so mailgun.org 465, rather than the API. Sometimes I have a little bit of issues with the API. So now we gotta put our username and password. So the username is right here. And then the password, we gotta click reset password to get that password. So username goes here. And then the password reset. We're gonna get a password and then paste it. Now, if you're using this for like multiple websites or like various different sexy finger like subdomain, like let's say you have a Canadian version, ca.sexyfinger.com, you can note this password into LastPass or something so that you don't, because if you reset it, then it's not gonna work on this website anymore, right? So take note of that password and then next, and then authentication went through. Actually, I think I double clicked it too quick. Wait, next. Okay, next. And then finish. And then scroll down, send a test email to check everything. So we're just going to send it to ourselves with an email. And then boom, success, email has been sent. If you don't do this, the emails that your customers get won't get received. And this is something that a lot of people get frustrated when they open up a WooCommerce store. They don't know any better. And they're like, my customers are not receiving email. And we received the email. Now, another thing you should do is actually open up an email address under your domain name, because people might respond to this. Now, you could probably do no reply at sexyfinger.com if you don't want to create a sexyfinger.com email. They do cost money. CloudWays has emails for $1 a month versus Google, which is I think like 10 or 20 bucks a month. So if you go click here and click on add-ons, and then click on Rackspace email, and then add a mailbox. Boom, it's there. And another thing you do is you got to configure your DNS servers. So if you click help, click over here, you need to properly set it up. And if you scroll down, we need to add this information into our CloudFlare, okay? If it's not in here, we're not going to receive emails. And it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not really going to show at this point. You add the record, right? And then you create an MX record, @ copy and paste this, priority 10. TTL is, I just want to show you, is over here. A lot of it's auto, or it doesn't really matter the TTL too much, but everything else obviously matters. So you would just put in that information in, the MX records and whatever, and then boom, after you did this, you're going to have an email that you just purchased for $1 a month, your email, okay? So you can do that, or you can do no -reply at sexyfinger.com. And so when you do get those emails in, or you can just respond with your Gmail account. Okay, if you want to save some cash that way, right? Oh yeah, one more thing is the MaxMind geolocation. So when someone goes on your checkout page, like right over here, if you notice, the country gets picked automatically and it's based on my IP address. So if I was visiting from China, all of a sudden the China country region would be picked automatically due to the MaxMind geolocation. And so to set this up, you would have to go into the backend, go to WooCommerce, go to settings, and then go to integrations, and then MaxMind license key, okay? We got to put the MaxMind license key there. And you simply go to maxmind.com, you create an account, it's free to get this. You'll click generate a new license key, and then, you can literally use this key for multiple sites. So I would just note it down in your like LastPass so you don't have to keep generating a new one, or you can make one key per site and then click confirm. And then the license key is here. Now, it may take like 5 minutes for this to get, let's say, within the system, be placed into the system. And so copy this, put this in your LastPass account if you want, or password manager. And we need to paste it in here. Now, it may not save right now because you see how it says it's invalid? If you give it 5 minutes, it will then allow you to then save it. So just wait 5 minutes and then add this key, and then boom, we're done. And once you're done with that, whenever someone checks out, their country will be automatically selected when they check out. So our email has been set up, and we installed all the plugins that we need for our website. At this point, you have your site, okay? You're free to do whatever you want on this site. You want to create your home page. We go to dashboard, you go to pages, all pages, you create your home page. There's no home page right now. So all you have to do, by the way, you can like get rid of all these notifications by clicking that. You can click add new page. Okay. And okay. So I like edit with Elementor to edit our page. I'm not a big fan of this block editor, and I actually forgot another WooCommerce plugin that I use a lot. And I think it's one of the #1 plugins. It's the classic editor. They got rid of it. It used to be part of the WordPress WooCommerce build, but they got rid of it because they want to integrate this drag and drop builder, but it's not that good. I'm not a big fan of it. So if we refresh now, it's going to be kind of similar to Shopify. Like it's going to have like, you'll type stuff in, and if you, like let's say, our home page name, Sexy Finger Best Rings Ever, and publish, and then our info is there. We're gonna view our page that way, and then boom, it's like that. Okay. And to make this our home page, you just click on customize. At this point, I do recommend just going on YouTube and just finding specific videos for specific things for WooCommerce WordPress, because I pretty much showed you on how to build the build. At this point, it's now up to you to create your website, because the hardest part is getting the build ready. Basically, we created a Shopify store, right? And there's tons of videos on like how to make a Shopify homepage, how to connect your Stripe account. There's tons of videos, same thing for WooCommerce, how to connect your Stripe account to WooCommerce, okay? Whereas there's not that many videos on how to create a proper WooCommerce build. And so again, if we go on page, if we go on to, I think site identity. By the way, each theme will have slightly something different. Oh, there, homepage settings. And you want to do a static page, and then you want to select the page that you made. So this one over here, okay? Publish. Now, if we go back to this page, if we scroll down, we get to see our like Yoast SEO info, and it gives us information on what we should do. And the cool thing is you can have a separate SEO title that people see, and then you can have a separate product, page title that you only see. Okay, so like if you want a different SEO title versus what's on the website, right? Sexy Finger, we gotta just refresh the page. So here, if we get rid of this and just write Sexy Finger, Best Tungsten Rings Ever, Best in Canada and USA or something, I don't know. And then you can add some description stuff. Obviously you want to add your title and like what you're selling. Sexy Finger provides the best tungsten rings in the world, etc., etc. Okay, and so people will see this instead of what you wrote here and here. Okay, so you make it more optimized. And then if we click update, you know, and then view, this is our home page now. You see how it keeps everything the title, but if we were to search Sexy Finger, give it 48 hours, we're going to see a different SEO info on Google search. Okay, now another cool thing is you can edit the page via Elementor. And then with Elementor, you can create your own customized home pages. Okay, activate containers. And so we can make our own page with this page builder. And this was free, guys. Okay, so we can put a new header if we want. You know, we can add an image underneath everything. Oh, we need to add a container. So if we delete this, we can add like new widgets. We can have 2 columns, right? On the left column, we can have a image, right? We can put an image in there. And then on here, we can add a a text box. You know, we can move the text box in terms of margin, right? Or in terms of padding or whatever. So there's a lot to do. There's whole videos, hours on videos on how to use Elementor. I'm not going to go through that process. So you're pretty much done. You can create fully optimized websites at this point. Now, there are more apps that you can use. Other plugins that you want to use, in my perspective, is Patchstack. So the thing with WooCommerce is plugin updates. You really don't want to be updating your site every day, every week, every month. You only want to really update if there is an issue with a plugin vulnerability. Now, there are plugins out there. There's iTheme Security, which has a cost. There's a free version, but the free version doesn't do the scan. Patchstack scans your site for the plugin that has an issue. Okay, so, and it lets you know, hey, this plugin has an issue. You should update it. Okay, it also has like ways to like patch it virtually. It has some like cool other things that you can do. So, you know, you go to My Apps, you add a new app, you write your website name, you get 10 free apps, and then you can literally just make another website and connect more. And now there's multiple plugins that do similar things. If not, go on Reddit and be like, hey, because this website might end up not being free anymore. A lot of plugins start out free that are very like valuable. Like this plugin's very valuable for a lot of people, so they might increase the price. And you know, and there may be no longer a free option. Okay, so it has been connected, sync with plugin. Let's see if this syncs. Might take some time. What if we just click close? Okay, it's actually was configured already. So since right now I have no vulnerabilities, it doesn't let us know. But eventually it will let us know that a plugin has an issue, and you would simply go into the back end of your website, plugins, install plugins, and update whatever you need to be updated. So there's like 3 updates. There's Akismet, Breeze, and WooCommerce. Right now, I'm not going to update anything because there's no need to update anything. But if you want to, you can. Now, the issue is when you update plugins, your site can possibly break. Now, I've noticed less and less breakage. Like I don't think I've ever had a site break anymore, but it still happens. And the great thing is with CloudWays, you can easily duplicate your site and create a staging server. Okay, this is more so you should do when your site makes a lot of money and you can't risk downtime. If you're only getting like 30 orders a month or whatever the heck, then you can probably do it on your site directly. But I would recommend before you update anything, create a backup, right? So you can make backups for free. So you don't have to pay $50 or $100 a month. You can duplicate your site and create a staging site for free, okay? Okay, before I show you like backups, I just wanted to show you how like staging and duplication works and how easy it is. So we go on to our app within our server and we click on it, right? And then from there, we click staging management. and then we can launch a staging application. When we click on this, it's going to ask us to either put it onto the same server or to separate it. I recommend separating it if you're doing the staging method. The reality is you're only going to be holding on to this for like a day or something, and therefore you're not going to be paying the full amount for the server. You're only going to be using for the time that you used it for. So if you're only using it for like 1 day out of 30, then you're only going to pay like 1 out of 30th of the cost for that server. So $10 times 1 out of 30th, which is like absolutely nothing. Okay, you can also use the same server if you don't want to do this. The reason why I say separate the server, that way if you like, mess around with the server and stuff, it doesn't mess with your live server at all, okay? It separates everything. So if you like mess up with that server, it won't affect the live server. So if we click continue, let's create a new server and click continue. And it's gonna, basically we're gonna create a brand new server, but it's gonna be indirectly connected to our live server with the app. I'm going to show you what I mean once this gets set up. So you want to select the server size. I recommend selecting the same size of the server that you're copying. This one's 1 gig, so 1 gig, Toronto, whatever, and then clone server. This process will take around 5 to 10 minutes to do. Obviously, you can also just leave it forever, and if you want to pay for that extra cost, that way you don't have to keep repeating this process, but it's only a 5-10 minute thing, and then you can just do whatever else while this is happening, right? So we're just going to wait for this, and then we'll get back to it. So here's the server that got duplicated, and then there's the app specifically. And when we go and open this, it gets password protected. You can like turn it off, or you can log in with the password protection. It's up to you. I'm just going to turn it off because it's easier to access. Just give it a minute or two to turn off, and then we'll access the staging site. Okay, if we open this up, we'll now access to our duplicated version of our staging site, and everything's going to be the same except like the site title. And don't worry, when we actually push it to live, it's going to get rid of this title and make it back to sexyfinger.com. And I just want to show you, for example, if we go on the admin over here and we go on the admin over here, we're just going to pretend that we're doing an update, a crucial update that we need to do. And so the username and password is obviously going to be the same as Sexy Fingers. So we're going to go into the original app and get that info. So as you can see, we're in the same admin. Like 4 plugins need to be updated on the live site, and 4 plugins need to be updated on the staging site. And let's say we go on to Patch Stack, and on Patch Stack, it says that we need to update PostSMTP. So instead of doing it on our live site and updating it here, we're going to do it on our staging site, and we just click Update Now. And it's only going to affect our staging site right now. It's not going to affect our live site because this is a completely different server and a different app. And from here, we would copy the link address. And what we want to do is test the most crucial things, which would be to create a dummy order. Now, there are no products on this dummy website right now, but ultimately you would, add an item to cart. I'm just going to go on this WooCommerce store right here. All you would do is go through this process of adding this item to cart, going through the checkout process, and making sure that you received the payment, and you received the email confirmation, and basically you can go through that process, and you also do it in mobile mode too. Okay, right? On a lot of apps, on a lot of browsers, you can just go to Developer Tools and click over here, and all of a sudden you're in mobile mode too. So I would test it in both modes to make sure that everything is working. Okay, and the cool thing too is that when you go onto the back end of your staging site, I also would recommend to turn off any tracking so you don't mess up your tracking. So you could deactivate this, or you can just go into the plugin and delete the information regarding about the Facebook pixel info. So the Facebook pixel info would be here. You would just remove it. Same with the Google Analytics info. You would just remove it before you would test everything. And then another thing too is that there is SandBox versions for your PayPal payments and your Stripe payments too, so that you don't have to do it on your live Stripe or your live PayPal. There's documentation on how to make a SandBox PayPal account and a SandBox Stripe account that you can easily just attach to these plugins. Or you can just use your live one and just authorize the charge but not fully process it. So don't fully capture the charge, have it uncaptured, but like authorize the charge. And if everything goes through, you can just, remove the authorization. Okay, so let's just say everything went swell. Then all we do is simply go back to our staging site, click on our staging app, and we would go to staging management. And what we want to do is make sure that we push from our staging to our live, okay? And remember, on our live site, PostSMTP hasn't been updated yet, right? So if we refresh that, it still hasn't been updated. But watch when we push to live. Web application files, database. So click push and then check mark what you need. I just recommend checking mark everything. So create a backup, database, and web application files. For this sake, I'm just going to uncheck this and then click proceed. And now in this process, it's literally going to copy and paste. During this time, your main site is going to be offline for a bit. So you may want to be doing this at a time that it doesn't matter. But again, it depends on how big your site is. If your site doesn't get as much traffic, then you're fine doing it in the afternoon, even though that's like a hot time. But since your site only gets like maybe a couple of visitors per hour, it's not going to really affect sales in much way. Okay, the same thing happens on Shopify. You just don't see it. Okay, Shopify pushes updates too, but you just don't see that happening, and therefore you don't really know if your site is down or not. And trust me, Shopify sites do go down without you knowing. I know this because I have operated Shopify sites when I noticed the checkout site isn't working or the home page isn't working, and it's happened multiple times. Okay, so we're just going to wait for this process and then we'll get back to it. Okay, so your application has been deployed. Now let's go on the live site. So I just refreshed it. And as you can see, the PostSMTP got updated, even though I didn't go in and update it. So that's pretty cool, right? And in terms of site duplication, you can either duplicate the full server by clicking clone server, or you can go on the app, or you can click on applications, and then here are our two applications. One's our staging and one's our live. So let's say we want to duplicate this and make a website based on this infrastructure, so we don't have to go through that process of adding all the plugins again. Or let's say we created a cool theme. Like, let's say that I like this kind of layout, so all I really have to do is like change this logo. I don't have to rebuild this on Elementor. I just have to change this banner, change these images over here, change this image over here, change this image over here, and all of a sudden we have a site just like that we don't really even need to do much. Okay, by the way, you will get access to a pre-made template if you join our free training by going to mikeapp.com/netting. So make sure to look out for that. Okay, so this is the great thing about duplicating, because you can easily make another site just like that with no, without doing so much effort and work. So I'm just going to close that. But ultimately, you would click on the site that you want to clone. You would click clone app. And again, you can clone it on the same server or on a separate server. In this one, we can click same server, continue, and you don't want to check staging because this is going to be separate from your main site. You're basically building a brand new site based on that infrastructure that you built for that specific site. Okay, so our application got cloned. It's on the same server, so you see over here now we have two, and this is our cloned version. And we can add a new domain, we can add a new URL, obviously. And for now, just open it up. It's just a separate website link, but with the exact same data. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Remember, you can obviously delete everything that you don't need, and remember, you're only getting charged like per hour when you're using these servers. Okay, since this is on the same server, you're not getting charged. So on this server, I now have 2 websites on it. I say you can have roughly around 3. And eventually, if you get more traffic and stuff, you might have to separate it. But at that point, you're making money. So it's not going to be a huge cost for you. And right now, it isn't a huge cost anyways. So you could delete this staging site once you're done. And if you don't care about the cost and you just want that server always up and running, you can just leave it there too. So we can delete this because we're done with it and we can submit. And I just wanted to show you how to restore your backup really easily when you're using CloudWays. So if you just click on your application over here and then go into backup and restore, you can then easily pick a certain date and time on when you want to restore. So this site is not that old, so we only have a couple options. Let's just say on August 16, we want to restore it. We would just simply click restore application, and then it will restore our application 2 days from before, okay? So that's pretty darn cool. And that's all for free within this monthly plan, okay? Now let's get back to creating a physical backup onto our main hard drive and how to make... So we can take a backup now. And if you click take backup now, it's going to take a couple minutes and it's going to create a backup on your site, okay? And if we actually go to servers and click on our server, and then if we click on our servers, when we click take a backup, I didn't actually check mark this, but if we go on backups and click enable local backups, we can do frequency too. Once a day is pretty good. Click save changes. It is going to do a full server backup of all of our sites on here. We only have one site right now. And we also have the app backups within the app selection. So if we click take backup now, it's going to also create a backup. And the cool thing is, so the great thing with WooCommerce is that you can actually go into the backend files, okay? At the end of the day, this is pretty much like a computer hard drive. And so you will need an SMTP or SFTP, sorry, access software. So there's Transmit, which I think costs money. And there's also DuckDuckGo. And okay, let's just say top free SMTP softwares. FileZilla. So I think FileZilla is a really good one. I think they actually have it for Mac too. You can use FileZilla. I think for the longest time I've actually been using FileZilla. So all platforms, right? Yeah, they have it for Mac. So Mac, Windows, everything. Right now I'm going to just use Transmit, and it's very similar. So all you do is you add in your server name, and then your username, and then your password. And then from here, you can connect, just click connect. You connect directly to this computer or this hard drive that you have access to. And then you click applications. And then this is the server that we have access to now, or the app that's within the server. If we click on the application over here and then go into, if we go into application settings, we can change the folder name to something that isn't confusing. So let's change this to Sexy Finger. It's going to show us both folders. So that weird folder with a bunch of letters and the folder with the title. So let's log out and log back in. Applications. Okay, there. So this just redirects to here, but this is easier to read. And then public HTML is where, or public underscore HTML is where our WordPress WooCommerce files are. So this is everything that we have. And the cool thing is you get access to the .hta access and all the other PHP files that if you need to do crazy edits, you can. I'm not going to talk too much about this because this is like advanced stuff. But with this advanced stuff, you can even do crazier stuff on your WooCommerce WordPress site. And so if we go back to applications and go back to the server, if we go back to applications and click on Sexy Finger and click local backups, there's a zip file of all of our files, and we can download this. So this is a total backup. So the great thing is, if for some reason CloudWays doesn't like your website, which I've never had an issue with CloudWays, you can easily move your content to another hosting provider just like that. Compared to Shopify, you're stuck. If you use Shopify, you cannot move Shopify. You have to physically basically download all the images, rebuild the infrastructure on the new. So if you're moving from like Shopify to WooCommerce, you got to rebuild the WooCommerce infrastructure. If you're moving Shopify to BigCommerce, you got to build the BigCommerce backend, right? So it's like you can download this and easily copy and paste it. It's not that easy, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. But yeah, you can download a backup here. And just so you have a local backup. And if you don't know how to do this, you can easily hire someone to upload all your content back. Okay, and so we're downloading it right over here, and I already downloaded it. So it's right over here, and open with WinZip, and then all of our content is in there. Or it might be 2 zips. So it's 2 zips when a file. So that's another kind of zip file. So if we open that, we can then see all our content. So that's our MySQL database. And then this is our public HTML information. Okay, literally all of our content's there. So that's pretty darn cool. I'm not going to talk too much about this because I don't want you to get overwhelmed on this, but I'm just letting you know you can easily make backups. With that being said, you can easily restore the backups just via the CloudWays backend, so you don't even need to use SFTP. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. That's literally how to create $3 a month websites just like this, getting insane sales like this, like this, like this, like this. By the way, if you go to micgap.com/netting, I have a free tutorial video over here that I explain on how you can do this right now, and you can get easy sales. Easy sales. I'm getting organic sales by using netting, basically creating multiple stores, and then using SEO at the most optimized level to get insane organic sales, and utilizing mid-ticket and high-ticket items so I can get insane sales like this, okay? I really recommend starting up WooCommerce. I really recommend dabbling with it. I recommend trying it out so that you learn the system and then you're not relied on one stuck system. Like I'm not. I now know how to use 5 different e-commerce platforms. WooCommerce is my go-to. My second go-to is Shopify. And the other 3 are like custom PHP files that I got from Code Canyon that literally... since I know how MySQL works and how to access my SFTP server, you can literally buy full-pledged websites. So if you go to PHP scripts and click here and then click e-commerce, you can buy full all-in-one Shopify or WooCommerce builds. I'm not saying it's WooCommerce, I'm not saying Shopify. It's a totally different build that is ready to go. You just install it and then boom, you'll have access to an e-commerce platform, okay? If we click view demo, so here is like basically the themes are there, all the plugins that you need are there. Now it's not as customizable as Shopify nor as e-commerce, but you can easily pump out websites too. Now I don't really use these often. I'm just showing that you have multiple options other than Shopify. Shopify is not the only other option, okay? So this is just something to look for after you get with WooCommerce because it's a little bit more difficult. But ultimately, if you want to make real money, and by the way, if you're just on Shopify, it doesn't really matter. My tactics work on everything, and I know Shopify inside and out, along with e-commerce inside and out. So if you want someone that really knows his shit, I really recommend to go micgap.com/netting and watch the video there, okay? Also, make sure to join my private Facebook group by going to easyecom.club/FB, guys, okay? I want to see you guys there. Have a great one. I'll see you in the next video, and peace.